Do you want to learn some useful Japanese phrases? Because here are the top 7 phrases that Japanese politicians use all the time. Funny enough, all of these come in handy for daily situations as well. So take some notes and get ready to manipulate situations to your advantage. And with number 1, Kentos shimasu. Kentos shimasu means I will think carefully about the issue at hand. What it actually means is I won't think about it and I'll just let it slide, or I don't know. This is the current Prime Minister's favorite phrase. As a matter of fact, he is called the Kento Ojisan, or the old man who kentos a lot. For example, how about changing Japan's population policy? Kento shimasu. How about changing Japan's income tax structures? Kento shimasu. How about finding different sources of energy? Kento shimasu. You can even kento the kento or accelerate the kento. In your regular conversation, you can use this phrase when people invite you to events that you don't want to go. Do you want to go to the movies? Kento shimasu. Do you want to go to the restaurant this weekend? Kento shimasu. Do you want to like this video? Kento shimasu. Now that I think about it, it's like saying, I'll think about it, and not thinking about it at all. This now leads us to the second phrase, Kyomete ikan desu. This means what happened is truly regrettable and unforgivable. What this actually means is what happened is truly regrettable, but I'm not ready to blame people. This was former Prime Minister Abe's favorite phrase. For example, what do you think about the North Korean missile testing? Ikan desu. What do you think about the American military aircraft that crashed in Okinawa? Ikan desu. What do you think about what your fellow LDP members said about applying pressure on media? Ikan desu. If you want to emphasize your ikan, you can add kyomete, which means extreme, or taihen, which means very. In your regular conversation, you can use this when you want to show some sorrow, but not bear responsibility or show some apathy. The soccer match got cancelled because of the rain. Ikan desu. The professor assigned another assignment. Taihen ikan desu. We got an F because you didn't do your part. Kyomete ikan desu. Number 3. Kyoku ni gozaimasen. This means I have no memory of what happened. What this actually means is I know what happened, but I would get fired, so I will keep my mouth shut. This is one of those ridiculous explanations that somehow flies and no one punishes them because they somehow still get votes. For example, what happened to the budget? Kyoku ni gozaimasen. This document claims that you're a part of a bribery plan. Kyoku ni gozaimasen. This document claims that you were paid 1 trillion yen. What were you being paid for? Kyoku ni gozaimasen. Apparently, the first time this phrase became a thing was back in 1976, regarding the Lockheed bribery scandal. They even made a movie with the title, Kyoku ni gozaimasen. In daily conversations, you can use this to get out of tricky situations because, hey, the Japanese politicians are getting out of sticky situations, so why can't I? Why are all the cookies gone from the cookie jar? Kyoku ni gozaimasen. You owe me money. Kyoku ni gozaimasen. My friend sent me photos of you spending time with a different girl. Kyoku ni gozaimasen. If your kyoku ni gozaimasen isn't working, you might want to consider to teine ni sesumei shimasu. This means I will politely explain. What this actually means is I will explain, maybe politely, but without details. Also, in the end, I will push through with my own decisions. You have to use this phrase when you need some level of approval although you already decided what to do. For example, a lot of citizens are worried about dumping nuclear wastewater into the ocean. Teine ni sesumei shimasu. A lot of citizens oppose the decision to replace health insurance cards with the My Number card. Teine ni sesumei shimasu. A lot of citizens are confused and angered regarding the LDP's connection with the Unification Church. Teine ni sesumei shimasu. You can use this phrase when you want to muddle the water by explaining, but not really. How do you plan to clean your room? Teine ni sesumei shimasu. How are you going to explain your stock loss? Teine ni sesumei shimasu. And so on. It's not my favorite, but it's a good one. If you want to show further ownership, this following phrase will come in handy. Sumiyaka ni okonaimasu. This means we will immediately solve the issue. What this actually means is we'll get to it sometime in the near future. You use this when you want to demonstrate determination, but without urgency. For example, when will your administration address Japan's declining population? Sumiyaka ni okonaimasu. When are you going to raise taxes? Sumiyaka ni okonaimasu. It's a bit similar to the previous phrase, so you can also use this phrase when you want to avoid discussion but show determination. When are you going to start the dishes? Sumiyaka ni okonaimasu. When are you going to start the project? Sumiyaka ni okonaimasu. Okay, the next one is a harder one to use in daily conversations. Kokumin no rikai o ete. This means we will get the citizens' approval and based on understanding, proceed with our plans. What this actually means is we'll just pass what we want to pass and explain later. This is usually used when the government plans to pass an unpopular bill, but they want to do it anyways. A lot of citizens oppose increasing expenditure for the military budget. Kokumin no rikai o ete, I will explain. The current phrase is used to embellish a verb, so if you want to use it as a verb, you just have to say kokumin no rikai o emasu. is very similar to the fourth phrase that you could actually combine the two. A lot of citizens are worried about dumping nuclear wastewater into the ocean. 国民の理解を得て丁寧に説明します. Nice. And now to our last phrase, which is the hardest but still very useful, especially in professional settings. お答えは差し控えさせていただきます. This means, in order to avoid confusion, I cannot answer the question. What this actually means is, there's no way I'm revealing what I know. Note the difference with the phrase お答えできません. お答えできません means I cannot answer, which may sound similar. While the two may sound similar, お答えは差し控えさせていただきます suggests that while the person can provide an answer, he or she will not answer at the moment. This phrase is usually used when companies or public figures do not want to reveal their deeds. There are images that suggest that you are directly involved in bribery. お答えは差し控えさせていただきます. This phrase can be used in professional settings in order to avoid responsibility. For example, when your professor asks you to share your opinion, you can simply say お答えは差し控えさせていただきます. If your boss asks you about all the YouTube videos you're watching during work, you can reply with お答えは差し控えさせていただきます. And here are the top 7 phrases that Japanese politicians use all the time. Let me know which one you'll start using in the comment section below. Like the video if you learned something new, and subscribe to learn more about Japanese politics.